All right, Coach, you drop a tough one to Wingate by a point in a game that had a 17 lead changes, 13 ties in it. Let's go to that fourth quarter because a lot of things happened where either team probably had a chance to run away with it. You guys took a lead, then went on a 4-minute scoring drought. They took a 7-point lead. You surged to take the lead, had the ball with 40 seconds left. How do you describe what you saw there in the last maybe 5 minutes or so of the game?
Well, going back like the entire fourth quarter, I felt like we had opportunities under the basket with little chippy shots that they just didn't fall, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I mean, I would like to think as we continue to work through the stuff that we're going through that we'll continue to be better at that and be better shooting the ball near the rim because this is the fourth straight game now. I think we've shot under 40% from the field. Almost won. It'd have been 4 straight wins shooting under 40% from the field, but you're not going to survive very long doing that. And again, it's in our home gym. We shot better from the 3 than we did inside the 3, and that's just not a good recipe for success. But you're right. I think we had a chance to make some plays in the fourth quarter. Obviously, Wingate had a chance there. There was twice, I think we got down 6, and we had to make it run back to tie it up, take the lead, whatever. And, Tori came in, gave us some really good minutes there late, went on a 7-0 run herself, and we actually took the lead. And you talk about the last play. It's a coach's, I wouldn't say it's a nightmare, but it's like, okay, you're coming down, you're trying to figure it out. I got 2 timeouts left. We can advance the ball. It becomes a strategy type thing. And, we tried to go back to a play that we've kind of something simple with a little high ball screen action to see if we could get something toward the rim. We ended up settling for a 3. Miss it. They time out, advance it. Of course, then, there's some timeouts that took place there. And then you get, you credit number 11. Freshman steps in here, has a big night, goes for 24 points. And then she's the one that, hits the last basket on a one-footed runner there in the paint. So you got to give them credit, and that's what I told our kids. We did some good stuff, we did some bad stuff. Number 11 made the final play. They made a lot of good plays, we made a lot of good plays, but at the end, it comes down to one play, and she made it, we didn't, and then unfortunately we're carrying our 3rd home loss this particular year.
I want to talk about something you just mentioned, the fact that you didn't get a whole lot on the interior. I think Wingate, 16 of their first 18 points came inside of the paint. They scored 44 in the paint. Yeah. You on the other side had to work a lot harder for it. Granted, Sydney Pierce gave you 10 points, 10 big points from the post position. Right. How do you go about trying to get the ball and get better looks like that?
Well, that's for one, that's how Wingate plays. They would prefer to get it inside. Of course, they get a lot of offensive rebounds and that kind of thing. But we're trying to get there. We don't want to just live by shooting a bunch of 3s a game. Obviously, if we can do that, we hit 10 tonight, probably kept us in the game. Obviously, our free throw shooting was exceptional, going 17 to 17, which is what I would expect. But, now that we have size, and that was the thing, I felt like that we had opportunities there, whether it be Sydney or whether it be Bird or whatever, to get those easy points in the paint, because we got outscored 44-26 in the paint, and that's a killer. Of course, we turn right around and go 26-10 off turnovers. So maybe that balances out a little bit. But with the size that we have, that's something, and Sydney's a freshman, and she goes for 10. She goes, 4 of 8, shot 50% from the field, but I think that she can do more. And that's what we're going to continue to press upon her, is that she can do more because she's got a size advantage about just about anybody that she plays against.
Final question I'll ask is, you've had a lot of these nip and tuck games down the stretch. I think a lot of coaches would say this can make you tougher and this can make you better down the stretch. How do you use this as a motivating factor as you get ready for LMU on Wednesday?
Well, probably a little bit of both. Obviously, you and I know very well what's happened with our basketball team this year. A lot of high expectations coming in, and we're not playing with the same roster that we started with. And in a lot of the games, especially the games that have gone south on us or we've got to put an L down, we're not playing with whether it be a healthy roster or the complete roster that, we want to start this season with. So you can call that excuses, but it's not excuses, it's called reality. And reality is that we're not the same team that started the year, but we're trying to get there. We played a lot of people tonight. There's been some different people that have stepped up to play well for us at times, but then at times, we're still making mistakes. So the one thing that it shows me is that we're still good enough to beat anybody in our conference. We're still good enough to beat anybody in the region. I do know that this game was a really important game considering what we've given up. So that basket that went in at the end, it probably took us out of having any chance of winning a regular season title. And Probably no chance was, I don't know, depending on how the season ends up, of hosting like we got to last year, that kind of thing. So now we got to go back to the drawing board and put our sights on something else. And, that's finishing top 4, getting back to Furman, obviously making the NCAA tournament and that kind of thing. Once you get in those tournament scenarios, anything can happen. So I think it's going to be a learning experience, but I think it's also going to build us for next year because we're playing a lot of guys out there that are going to be back on the floor again next year. And so if anything, it's going to propel us into next year. We're still going to try to do the best we can this year, but going forward next year, we're going to have a lot more experience than I would have imagined when we started the year this year.